to City Views. There are 30,000 stories in this river city, and today we're going to talk to you about the Creator Maker District. This is the first in a series of videos about the city of Fredericksburg, its past, its present, and its future. My name is Chuck Johnston. I'm the Planning and Building Director for the city. This is Mike Craig, Senior Planner, Long Range Transportation Planner. As I said, today's topic is the Creator Maker District. The city's in the process of developing small area plans for 10 different districts around the city. Part of that small area planning process included what we call the North Princess Anne, North Route 1 area, as well as the downtown core area and the surrounding neighborhoods around the downtown core. The North Route 1, North Princess Anne plan was adopted in 2019, and the downtown plan was adopted in fall of 2020. Both of these documents include proposals for what's called a Creator Maker District. This was an idea that was brought to our attention by StreetSense, a consultant firm that the city hired to help us do our small area plans. A Creator Maker District is intended to provide for a broader range of uses in commercial corridors that weren't just retail. Both of the areas that we're focusing on, the North Princess Anne corridor, which used to be Route 1, and the Wolfe warehouse area, which is west of the downtown core, have a lot of older industrial, older commercial, and some residential uses. This would broaden the range of uses. This Creator Maker District would broaden the range of uses allowed in these areas so that those existing structures can be reused and the areas can be revitalized. The Creator Maker District includes a form-based code element, meaning that the size and shape and location of buildings are encouraged to be in a certain arrangement. It encourages the reuse of these 100-plus-year-old buildings. We think it will help the rejuvenation of these areas of the city and the city as a whole. Mike Craig is kind of the maker of the Creator Maker Districts, and I'll turn it over to him to introduce this video that was shown to City Council.
Thank you, Chuck. We're introducing a presentation that was given to City Council at a meeting in March. It was a go-to meeting, so you'll see a lot of people on the screen.
Item 10D, I will call upon Senior Planner Mike Craig for amendments to the UDO.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will be brief, but at the same time try to convey a lot of information for you all and the public who we've had some preliminary communication with about tonight's resolution that will initiate the public hearings on the final round of Creative Maker Districts within the city, as well as some calibration of the zoning text related to light manufacturing and form-based codes. The zoning map amendment will apply the Creative Maker zoning to the portions of the city shown in purple on the map that you see on the screen. We did send out letters to all the property owners subject to this rezoning a few weeks ago to get that early start on public dialogue, and we've received some common questions. First, what is driving the change? And second, what does it mean? And I think I can answer both of those here this evening, but in a preliminary way that's starting the dialogue. Implementing Creative Maker Districts is part of the land use strategy set out in the Downtown Small Area Plan. Shown in pink, the Creative Maker Districts implement the T4M transect, which is a policy tool designed for areas where revitalization will take place primarily through adaptive reuse of existing historic buildings, through infill, or through redevelopment. The concept was developed by several community working groups, the City Council, the Planning Commission, other boards and commissions, and we've been working on this for over 4 years at this point. The Small Area Plan adopted in September of 2020 highlights the Canal Quarter Extension and Wolfe Warehouse District with a vision to build on what makes them walkable urban places. These are special places. They're unique. And other localities, other cities, even here in the city of Fredericksburg, you can't authentically duplicate the things that these places have that sets them apart. They're rich in character-defining structures and arranged in a historic pattern based on small lots, a diversity of use, a strong connection along the street front. The historic buildings are versatile, often built to accommodate production as well as sales and service. The community vision for these areas is consistent. They're in need of revitalization, and that revitalization should preserve as much existing character as possible. These areas remain stubbornly underutilized. The zoning in these areas prioritizes offices, mercantile retail, buying something from one source, marking it up, and selling it at volume, and service uses. And these are all good district components, but they do not permit the types of emerging businesses that are leading an evolution of local economies throughout the country. Over the last years, there's been a resurgence in local craftsmanship, production, occurring at a scale within historic commercial areas, small to medium scale investment based on entrepreneurship and innovation that are all critical tools for revitalizing aging commercial places. They're often achieved by uses prohibited in traditional zoning codes. Where they have emerged either as non-conforming uses or artist studios, they restore and upgrade aging structures, bolster the activity of an area, reinforce the district's unique sense of place, and equally as important, provide another path for people to create their own jobs and own businesses and take their livelihood into their own hands. Maker spaces, food and beverage processing, cosmetics, craftsmanship, they're all emerging sought-after segments of the local economy that, when done in a compatible scale, achieve the goals established in city planning documents. The Creative Maker District that's proposed permits a diverse set of uses. It's the key to unlocking revitalization through adaptive reuse of the character structures in these areas. The Creative Maker District is a mixed-use district that permits an array of residential, commercial, institutional, and a limited number of industrial uses, examples of which we just mentioned. Industrial uses must be managed carefully in a mixed-use district proposed like this. Light manufacturing uses permitted must be wholly confined within an enclosed building. They can't include the processing of hazardous gases and chemicals. They can't create persistent noise audible 100 feet from the property line. They can't emit vibrations or obnoxious smoke, vapors, fumes, or odors. These standards are mostly present in the existing definition of light manufacturing, but after discussion and hearing some preliminary feedback, we do propose to clarify them as independent performance standards, and we're doing that as part of this process. Traditional commercial uses and other industrial uses utilize drive-throughs or outdoor storage. Some sell alcohol. These types of uses can have external impacts on a mixed-use district if not managed effectively as well, which is proposed to be handled through the special use permit process. Special use permits require public hearings and are ultimately approved or denied by the City Council. Maintaining the unique character of the district is a top priority. Looking at the existing zoning, commercial transitional zoning lot size and width, setback, and other dimensional requirements apply legal pressure to consolidate what now exists as 5 lots with individual buildings into a single lot with the building built out of sequence with the surrounding block face. The commercial downtown zoning district in peripheral areas like the Wolfe warehouse area creates development pressure predicated on attracting heavily capitalized investment that is different in mass and scale than the existing historic structures. That is another economic development strategy, and it may be good in some cases within the district as long as it's managed appropriately. This area was not recommended for an extension of the regulatory historic district that would prohibit demolition. Some regeneration in this area may occur through redevelopment, and some will be in the form of infill development. The Creative Maker District utilizes a form-based code. The form uses frontage designations to establish the streetscape on the left, public frontage, and the placement of buildings and parking, which we call private frontage. The frontage permits different building types, and those building types, which you can see on the lower and center portions of the screen, set the appropriate mass and scale of buildings. It uses something called transitional zones, established in sensitive areas to require a transition in permitted mass and scale in proximity to single-family homes. Architectural standards require that buildings be oriented in accordance with distinct patterns, apply standards for building materials, and and requires that utility and service functions are screened from adjacent streets. Bulk standards set a baseline for the floor area ratio, open space, and residential density. And these levels are set at a 0.75 floor area ratio and 8 units per acre for residential density. There's a reduction in residential density from the commercial office transitional and commercial highway districts, as well as in both residential density and floor area ratio from the commercial downtown zoning district. But please note that the Creative Maker District does permit consideration of case-by-case residential density and an increase to a 1.5 floor area ratio by special use permit. A lot of discussion about these items when we went through Area 6. And the purpose of these processes are to allow infill to build in the form that exists in the district. These are historic mixed-use areas of the city where storefronts and commercial buildings mix with apartments, triplexes, and duplexes along the same block face. The special use review would permit the inclusion of missing middle housing, and I've just shown you 3 pictures that include it, and different buildings at 15, 34, and 43 units per acre, where proposed projects that cannot be permitted under traditional zoning can meet the form established, the vision of the district, and have a path to approval. There are 3 parts to this project. One is a text amendment clarifying the standards for light manufacturing. The second is a calibration of the form-based code rules. The calibration is meant mostly to clean up the language now that we've run some projects through. We're always testing things as we go through this form-based code to make sure that it's a clean and efficient machine that we've built. We've received some questions about the amount of required open space from folks, especially that have commercial downtown property. And that's an item that we'll bring up with the Planning Commission and continue that conversation with you all as the project moves through the process. And finally, the third action, this project will rezone 142 properties to the Creative Maker Zoning District. Tonight, the council action is to start the public hearing process. If initiated, the Planning Commission will hold a public hearing on April 14th. Another public hearing will be held with the City Council once the Planning Commission has discussed these items and makes a recommendation. That could occur in May or June. And that's the information that I have for you all this evening, and I'm happy to take any questions that you have.
Thank you, Mr. Craig.
Changing the zoning map and changing the zoning rules are changes to the law, so it involves a public process, and we are in the middle of it. This presentation was one of the first formal steps of the end of that process, the beginning being much community planning, as Chuck mentioned, through area planning. That evening in March, we provided details on what the district looks like now and what it's going to be in the future. And then the City Council initiated the public hearing process. So this item went to the Planning Commission for their consideration, which they looked at, reviewed, and worked on over their last 2 meetings, including, in the interim between their 2 meetings, some additional community meetings that we've held with the public. Last night, April 28th, the Planning Commission recommended approval of both items. Now they'll go to City Council for an additional public hearing, and that will occur on May 25th. And after that, City Council will make a final determination on approving or working further on the Creative Maker District.
Thank you for watching this video. I realize it's a lot of information, and some of these are kind of new ideas. We welcome any comments or questions you might have. For more information, see the city website at fredericksburgva.gov. This video is intended to be the first of a series of videos, talk about the future and the past of the city, the planning, building, historic preservation, environmental issues. Any ideas that you have about things you want to hear about the future and the past of the city, please let us know. We thank you for watching.